Let's talk about your music.
Mm.
Losing yourself in your music, losing yourself in a song. What do you experience?
That's a good question. What do I experience? Well, you can't lose yourself in the song. See, that's a misdemeanor there. You don't lose yourself, because if you lose yourself in the song, you lose the people. See, because then you start to become more satisfying. And that's not what you're up there to do. You're up there to satisfy the public. That's why they came to see you. And if you lose, like you see, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, but you see a lot of these not new people, but these people in the business who say, "Oh man, I'm not up there to play for the people. I'm up there playing for myself." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, if that's what you're doing, brother, you ain't gonna be up there long. Because John Q. Public gonna say, honey, I ain't going for that. The only person that could do that was Miles Davis. Miles Davis never faced the audience.
It's interesting you say that. I saw Miles Davis in Montreux, Switzerland, the Montreux Jazz Festival. Claude Knobs had me over there. And I was backstage with Miles and talking to this band and everything. When I came out just to check a little bit out, you're right. I watched him playing the whole show.
He never
had his back to the audience.
He never faced the audience. He never did, man.
So what do you do to make sure you entertain?
What do? I try to give them what I think they want.
And what's that?
The stuff that they've been listening to in their homes and in their cars.
Grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, that way, they'll give me another gig here, you know what I mean?
That's what it's about, the next gig, right?
There you go, that's it.
But you got to perform like this is the last one and give them your best.
Every time.
Is there anything you learned early on, back on the streets of Chicago, back in the church in Chicago, that you still apply today?
Yes, don't take nothing and nobody for granted.
I hear that.
Because every time you do, buddy, somebody gonna drop a hammer on you. And I say that in the sense that every time you say, well, I got this covered, I got this down, don't think that. Because and this is a great example, a lot of times when you're on the road traveling as we do, my road manager will call ahead, to see that everything is set up, the hotel and the transportation and all that. And then when we get there, it isn't. And he goes ballistic. And I say, John, chill. Because you have to remember, the person that you talked to 2 or 3 days ago might not even be working today. It might be somebody else on the shift. And they might not have transferred that knowledge, to this person. So this person don't know when you coming in, you're going to jump all over this person. This person don't know what the hell you jumping on them for.
And also, you know what? It represents you in a way.
Yes, it does. So, and that's the thing. So like I said, you don't take anything or anyone for granted at all, because every time you do, Murphy, Murphy, that sucker steps in the picture, boy, and socks it to you, So
blindside you when you least expect
that's it, so what you have to do, you have to fall back, regroup, and come back again, and that's the way it is.
What makes you good at what you do?
What makes me good at what I do? That's a good question.
Thank you.
I think it's, and this may sound a little egotistical, but I think it's the time and effort that has been put into it.
The love, the care.
Oh yeah, well that's time and effort. It takes effort, because when you run into a lot of the unscrupulous, use that word, unscrupulous things that you encounter out here on the road, boy, you got to have your act together, man, or you'll go home and hang it up and say, forget about it. I ain't going to do this no more, man, but I love it.
Any one night that stands out in your mind the most when you think back? I mean, here's a man who sang with the Beatles, sang with Sam Cooke, has had an illustrious career. But any one night, since we're talking about giving it to the people, that you felt everything was perfect, it was right there, you hit the mark?
Yeah, there's been a few of those. Actually, I guess the first time was when I was in New York. Now this is my employer. I did Carnegie Hall like this week, and the next week I did the Village Gate. The following week I did the Apollo. Now the Carnegie Hall was 2 nights. the Apollo and the Village Gate were weeks, you know, but that's I had 5 albums in the top 10, so I figured, hey, hello, here it is, you know.
You're there.
And I got a little crazy there for a minute. I said crazy, it wasn't crazy, just I was spinning like a top. I didn't know which way it was up. It was, you know, oh yeah, my name's up on the Carnegie Hall marquee, my name's up on the Apollo Theater, my name is up in the Village. Man, you know.
Good feeling.
And oh, buddy, you know it. And I was being played about 3 or 4 times an hour on the radio. That was back in the day when they did that, you know.
Right.
See, now you're lucky if you get played once a day. You know? But I mean, I was all over the place. And then I guess you could say one of the biggest highlights was when I signed with Anheuser-Busch to become their spokesman for
About
Budweiser.
1980, is that right?
Yeah.
About 1980.
And I talked with August Bush III, who was the chairman of the board at the time. He still is, and he said, Lou, you do a lot of community work. Is that something we can support you with? I said, yeah. I said, you know what? I said, why don't we do a fundraiser, telethon like Jerry Lewis does for muscular dystrophy for research? Let's do a telethon for education. I said, because, you know, good. Research is one thing, but where do the researchers come from? We started doing that. We started doing the United Negro College Fund. And here I am 25 years later still doing it.
And really
but it's been
getting
really,
it out there.
It's really been good.
Great
yes.
cause. I mean, you've done tremendous
We've
work
raised
with them.
over $250 million, and we had like, I think it's 55,000 students.
That speaks to the man again, the humanitarian. Yeah. You spearheaded that.
This was a way of giving something back, because, you know, at this point I had, you know, a successful career. I was visible all over the place. And I said, now, one thing I can't do, I can't knock on everybody's door and say, thank you for buying my records or coming to my shows. But maybe through some of these kids who will go back to their communities with their, you know, their knowledge and expertise that they've acquired on their college education, they can give something back in the community, like doctors, lawyers, you know, financial, all of that. And I must say, at this point in time, it has been very gratifying, because I've had a chance to meet. I was in Daytona, Florida, and half the city administration in Daytona Beach are UNCF graduates.
Back to the music.
Yeah.
Best of Lou Rawls, Volume 1. Best of Lou Rawls, Volume 2. Wait a minute, let's go back to the earlier. Anthology of Lou Rawls, the 2 CD set.
Yeah.
Lady Love, You'll Never Find.
Yeah.
Wind Beneath My Wings, Tobacco Road.
Yeah.
What does a great Lou Rawls song have to have? Have to have?
Believability. In other words, like Tobacco Road, when I recorded that, a lot of people said, yeah, man, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, buddy, I know what Tobacco Road is. I lived on it too, you know? And people were, for a while, people were saying, Tobacco Road, man, where is that? In Carolina? I said, no, that's everywhere. Every major city you go into, they have a Tobacco Road. It's not so much a place as it is a state of mind, you know? And they began to understand that. But no, songs, people will bring me songs, you know, and if it's Moon June, you go, hey, come on, man, you know, don't beat a dead horse, you know, let him lay. Bring me something that is timely, you know, that's typical, that is something that people can relate to now. I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of songs are not, what could you say, timely in that sense, but they don't have the longevity. See, that's what I look for, a song that I can sing today, and 10 years from now, it'll still be a good song.
Its value.
Yes, exactly.
Is there any song that you ever did hear that you said to yourself, wait a minute, that's a Lou Rawls song, I want to record that?
Well, I've heard, I did them too.
Heard him and did him.
John D. Loudermilk, okay, he wrote Tobacco Road, you know,
right,
country and western.
Right.
But it just, the minute I saw it, I said, yeah, buddy.
Any composers that you feel drawn to, that you hear and enjoy their work and want to record their music?
Well, yeah, there's a few of those. But, you know, the thing is, it's a funny thing how that works. When you got these composers that are hot, you know, like, say, take like a Babyface or something like this, you can't get to them for love nor money because they're bombarded. You know, everybody's trying to get to them. And naturally, if you don't have a sort of camaraderie with them, you know, trying to get, you got to go through agents and managers and all that stuff. And by the time you get to them, you know, your desire is kind of depleted. I had an idea. I said, you know, they had the 3 tenors, right? So I called Isaac Hayes and Barry White. I said, let's go out and do the 3 baritones.
We're going to have Isaac Hayes, by the way, on this program in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Yeah,
he'll
cool.
tell you. And we talked about it. But again, agents and managers, you know.
And lawyers.
Well, they're lawyers, yes. They come in the picture too. Well, we don't think that'll work, Lou. You know, I said, you don't think it'll work. I said, everybody that I have mentioned it to thinks it's a great idea. They got these 3 brothers out there now that are doing the 3 tenor thing, you know, and it's going over good. But I figured that, you know, 3 baritones, the opposite of that, I think would be great. And Barry White, come on, he's Mr. Bedroom, you know. And
it'd be perfect for Isaac, you, and Barry.
Right, you know, and I said, man, this would be great. So Isaac and I, we're going to do it. I think we'll probably get Larry Graham. Remember Larry Graham, 1 in a million.
You think he'll get around the politics, though? You think he'll be able to get around through the politics?
See, Isaac and I already got through the politics. But it's, you know, the other people. Well, but, you know, you encounter that in this business. That's
it's a minor speed bump.
You know what I'm saying, really. But we've been very fortunate in that what we've done, the people have accepted, you know, and I think that they would accept this idea as well.
TV appearances, movie appearances, voiceovers, the work with all the money that you've garnered for the United Negro College Fund, working for Anheuser-Busch, the millions of albums that have been sold. We talked about the Trumpet Award. We talked about the Grammy Awards.
I got what was the award for advertising? When I was with Bud, we got a couple of awards.
The Clios.
Clios, yeah, I got a couple of those too.
So with all this, what dream does Lou Rawls dream?
To continue doing what I'm doing and make people happy.
Well, you're putting a whole hell of a lot of smiles on people's faces, let me tell you. This has been a most enjoyable half hour.
Hey, it's been a ball. Thank you.
Appreciate this. Lou Rawls.
Yeah, buddy. You're watching the Litch and Lou show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed.
We are here in the handsome hotel suite at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. For Words and Music, I'm Litch. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Groovy people, we like to be around groovy people, yes. I don't like nobody with a big ego. Don't like to sit around and hold a conversation with somebody who don't know where he wants to go. Give me the simple life full of fun and joy. Can't you see I'm just a good old country boy?